Bill Belichick, not a Hall of Famer, at least this year. And got a call yesterday afternoon. Somebody gave me a heads up. And he said, hey, I don't know if it's official yet, but Bill's not going to get in. And it's one of those where you go, oh, that's right. Up for the Hall of Fame. Coaches don't have to wait 5 years. It's 1 year. Mike Tomlin's eligible next year for the Hall of Fame. Didn't even think anything of it. And then all of a sudden it came out that it was true. Bill Belichick didn't get 80% of the votes. Now, there's 50 voters, have to have at least 40 who say yay or nay. And apparently you had at least 11 voters who decided that Bill Belichick was going to have to wait. Now, they factored in Spygate. They factored in Deflategate, even though Bill wasn't involved in Deflategate, except for defending Tom Brady. Spygate, we've talked about that ad nauseum, about what they did. Belichick and the Patriots have been on the receiving end of two of the highest punishments in NFL history as far as draft picks and fines. But for Bill Belichick, 6 Super Bowls as a coach, 2 as a defensive coordinator, 8, and he's on the outside looking in. Now, we can talk about how egregious this is in voters and what they factor in. And you are supposed to factor in football stuff, not ancillary stuff like off the field. They probably did that with Michael Irvin. They probably did that with Terrell Owens to a certain degree. I don't know if they factored in that with Lawrence Taylor. But this also pushes back the other coaches who were up for Hall of Fame consideration. Does Belichick get in next year? These are the other coaches who were semifinalists: Tom Coughlin, Mike Holmgren, Chuck Knox, Buddy Parker, Dan Reeves, Marty Schottenheimer, George Seifert, Mike Shanahan, which means they go into the pool next year because Belichick did not get in. Talking to a voter yesterday who did talk about the whole process, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., Zoom call, you kind of speak up for somebody. There were a couple of people who spoke up against people. I've been lobbying for transparency. Like, make this C-SPAN. Make it, PBS. Let us see what goes on. Like, one day, let us understand the importance of this. It's the Hall of Fame, the importance for these other players. But if you get 5 finalists and you have to vote for 3 of the 5 to get into the Hall of Fame, and it's got to be 80%, well, as I was told by one of the voters, you end up splitting your votes and then nobody gets in. So Ken Anderson doesn't get in, or Roger Craig, or L.C. Greenwood. These are all Hall of Famers. But it should just be 5. If you get it to 5, celebrate 5 instead of not celebrating anybody. And there's such a backlog. This is a big problem for the Hall of Fame moving forward because, like, Luke Kuechly's a Hall of Famer. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Adam Vinatieri should be in the Hall of Fame. You get this backlog, and then you get more players who are going to come in. Larry Fitzgerald will probably get in this year. Drew Brees getting in this year. But this is separate from this, the senior committee voting on these players. It's their last go-round. Many of you didn't see L.C. Greenwood or Kenny Anderson. I did. I have no problem with them being Hall of Famers. Roger Craig was that first back that could run and catch. I have no problem. He played for great teams. Hall of Famer. But we get nothing out of it. Except for, hey, we showed Bill Belichick. Because that's what it felt like. You used this referendum, this platform, to say, hey, Bill, you're not bigger than the game. Bill Polian, in the Hall of Fame, said he's not even sure if he voted for Bill Belichick. He thought he did. Wait a minute. Former Colts GM, and you don't remember if you voted for Bill Belichick. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, Bill. And then there are reports that maybe you had some subterfuge. Something was orchestrated behind the scenes. People trying to gather enough votes. We need 11 votes. Bill won't get in. We'll teach him. Now, whether that happened or not, there's certainly been speculation, reporting on that. But when Bill Polian said that Belichick should be in, but he's not sure if he He's not 100% sure if he voted for Bill Belichick. There weren't that many candidates to remember if you voted yay or nay. So that's part of it as well. You're going to get, people who probably have a grudge against Bill. People who lost to Bill. People who thought Bill cheated. I mean, Robert Kraft should be in the Hall of Fame. When you think about what he's done, he's not in. Now, he might get in this year. We don't know what the results are. All we're hearing is that Bill Belichick's not getting in. But it just makes the Hall of Fame look bad. That's all. Because it's obvious, even, with his foibles, even with every, all the blemishes here, he's still first ballot Hall of Famer. And if you don't think he's the greatest coach in NFL history, it doesn't take long to take roll to find out where he is on that list. He did it. He did it at a very high level. Now, first thing I thought of when I was told this, and even said this back to the voter, I go, well, what's this mean for Tom Brady? And he goes, I didn't even think of that. I said, well, be consistent. If this is what you're going to do. Now, are you going to vote for Belichick next year? If you didn't vote for him this year, so you're going to say, yes, I did this. Yes, I'm holding him accountable. Don't vote for him ever again, if that's how you feel. Did he cheat? He kind of cheated. So you're not going to vote for him. Tom Brady, he was he benefited from Spygate. Deflategate was silly to begin with, but still, you lie to the commissioner, you get suspended, your team, gets punished. Then don't put Tom Brady in next year, or when he's eligible. If you're going to hold Belichick to a higher standard, then hold Brady to a higher standard as well. Brady, though, I know had a letter that was read that he spoke up on Bill Belichick's behalf. He wasn't involved in the Zoom call, from what I'm told, but it just felt like there was an agenda here with Bill Belichick. I just hate the fact that these other players, former players, aren't going to get their day because it's going to be all about Bill Belichick. And that's unfortunate because the Hall of Fame, it's a museum. Do you qualify? Yes, you qualify. Did you do something incredible? Yes, then we should celebrate that. Did Belichick cheat? Yes. In accordance to, the commissioner, he cheated. Okay, he paid a price. Julius Peppers got popped, I think, his rookie year or second year in the league for PEDs. Now, granted, it might have been ephedrine. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. Do you hold him accountable? He gets a hall pass. I just hate when we pick and choose justice here when it comes to sports. Did the Astros cheat? They did cheat. Or Barry Bonds, did he cheat? Yes, he cheated. Okay. Should you have put an asterisk by Bill Belichick's name like they did Pete Rose? If he did something and you're going to hold him accountable, then just let us know. We're not going to let you in. We're not going to let you, first year, whatever it is. But to come out and be the morality police here, and it feels like those who might have been on the receiving end of a Patriot win had a problem with Bill Belichick, including those with the Colts. Yeah, Paulie.
The initial report by Don Van Natten, ESPN, accused Bill Polian of telling his fellow voters that Belichick should serve a one-year penance for Spygate. I really agree with what you said earlier. If you're not going to vote him in this year, be consistent. Don't vote him in next year if you're one of the 11 voters who didn't. Stick with whatever you thought.
And I don't know if, Robert Kraft is going to be held accountable as the owner of the Patriots. Robert Kraft's 84 years of age, and he was a Hall of Fame finalist after 14 years. And it's unknown if he or any other finalist received the necessary votes for induction. So you're punishing Robert Kraft. You put Jerry Jones in, but you're going to punish Robert Kraft. Okay. It's just picking and choosing, and it kind of puts yourself in a really delicate predicament here when it comes to who cheated, didn't cheat, kind of cheated, all of this. Your voters celebrate the game. If you want to say, hey, I voted for Bill, I have a problem with what happened with Spygate, but I voted for Bill. His resume is too good. An incredible coach, greatest coach ever, one of the greatest coaches ever. It's just, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But, oh, by the way, a couple of coaching hires yesterday, and Shedeur Sanders is going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. That's what I thought the day was going to be. And all of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute. Wow. And then even hearing from a source this morning who followed up with me and gave me a little bit more background information on it. And also, they're going to change. They're going to change the format next year, from what I'm told. And maybe you have 5. I mean, you're narrowing it down to 5. Shouldn't that be good enough? Because I don't want this backlog, and I don't want this to affect other players, coaches who may not be alive when they get into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Celebrate, L.C. Greenwood passed away. His widow still alive, not going to get that moment to celebrate. Or Kenny Anderson, the former Bengal quarterback. Or Roger Craig, You can't say, well, next year. It's like Larry Fitzgerald will get in, probably first ballot Hall of Famer, which means Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt, they won't get in. Or they're going to get pushed back. Because every year it's somebody where you go, well, Hall of Famer. And that's the way it's going to be. But this backlog here, they got to change that. Because you got so many people. Then they're waiting for that knock on the door. They're waiting for that phone call. And they deserve that. But the way it is now, if you pare it down to 5 and then you have to vote for 3, and not everybody's going to be voting 80% for somebody. And that's a shame. If you get to the final 5, you should get in. You should.